Ooh, DJ Red.
Yo, welcome back, guys. We got another episode for all you guys tuning back in. Appreciate you guys joining me with a new guest, special guest, man. Matthew Enrique, aka Easy, man. Easy Corner interviews, man. You know, if you ain't seen them, I definitely want y'all to check it out. Appreciate having you today, bro.
Man, I appreciate it, man. It's an honor, man. I see what you guys are doing, especially, what you guys do for this city, represent, and the way that you guys are breaking down sports, bro. Very, very impressive. There's not a lot of guys that I can say that I listen to in this city, but you guys are a big fan. You guys just keep it up, man. I just feel like everybody in this community needs to help each other out in some type of media form or fashion. So any way that I can help you guys out, or any way that you guys can help me out, I'll be definitely reaching out. So, it's just a start of something big. So, just other media guys that have the same passion and drive for sports that I do. I'm always happy to talk sports.
100%, bro. We, like you said, bro, we always here to help you in return, and you guys helping us, bro. Building that brotherhood in the media space, and we appreciate you tapping in, bro, because everybody got a podcast these days, so you can tap your ears into anything. But we definitely appreciate that, bro. I'm watching you. I'm like, you the ball is life for the H, bro. You know what I'm saying? No care, bro. I fucks with it hard, bro. So
I appreciate it. The only thing I would say is right now, to all my fans, I kind of sorry that I'm only doing video, because a lot of people, I'm really known for the classic interviews. Everybody knows I'm known for the classic.
I saw your Raymond Felton interview too.
Yeah. So I'm known for the classic interviews, but Easy Corner podcast will be back. It's okay, man. It's coming. So it's all good. I will be back on the mic again.
For sure, bro. We looking forward to that too, bro. I was loving the interviews you was doing and stuff. And I'm sure the people gonna tap into that. We definitely gonna support that as well on this side. But I want to start it off, bro. Let me know the journey of Easy Corner and kind of how you started, and what gave you the idea into getting that space.
So I would say this. I've always wanted to be a sports media guy, sports broadcaster since I was in third grade. I knew I was kind of different when I was literally just memorizing stats. I'm memorizing stats, also like just naming different type of basketball players, the history of the game. So, I always wanted to impact the game, impact the sport in some type of way other than playing and probably coaching, because I've done all three. I've coached girls, I've coached boys, and I played in high school. So but I've always felt like my impact in this game will always be my voice. So looking at guys like Stephen A., looking at guys like Stuart Scott, Marv Albert, obviously just retired, guys like Craig Sager, rest in peace. Guys like that has really gave me inspiration to see how they impacted the game without playing, but how they impact the game with their writing and also their voice. So that's how basketball and also football is a bigger platform other than just the game itself. It's about really the voice and the expression. So to me, I've always been a character. Everybody said I've always been a good entertainer. But one thing I would say is I know I have knowledge. So I eat, sleep, and breathe sports. So if I'm not doing anything, I'm watching sports, I'm looking at film. So you know what I'm saying? So really always been this way since I was in literally third grade, collecting stickers. My first NBA Finals game I still remember watching was when Kobe and Shaq beat the Nets in 2002, 4-0 sweep. I vividly remember where I was since then. So I think since then, basketball has always been a big part of my life. Of course, everybody's dream was to be in the NBA, but my dream was really to be a sports broadcaster and just try to be the effects of media, because seeing us media guys, the found relationship that we can have with players, and also not even just players, but society itself.
Yeah.
We're doing it for a culture. So what became behind Easy Corner is quite simple. I can't sit here and lie. I also teach. So I have my two passions are literally sports broadcasting and kids. So obviously my platform, huh? Yeah. Oh yeah. So my platform started with interviewing high school kids. And I love it. And everybody said, why high school? Because I love the story and I love the journey of how they got there, instead of, oh, you're there when they already made it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and they go through most of the maturation process before they get to the higher level in high school in those 4 years. And I
Mhm.
think you bring up a great point, bro, of finding your way in space of impacting the sport. Even for me myself, a lot of hoopers can attest. When you're done with the game, it's kind of like, well, damn, like I'm just hooping at the rec. Like, how can I really affect the game? How can I be a part of the game? And it comes to a point where you're talking about the game every day. You still watching it. The love is still there. You just not on the floor.
Mhm.
And that's kind of the same reason I put together my podcast, man, just to have that voice and have people hear their opinion. And like you say, Stephen A, Craig Sager, not only do they put a mark, but they lead debates for a lifetime just because of the things they say, on ESPN and other platforms. So, I think that's a big thing that people can take from the game is like find your way to impact the game. Like you said, the league is not for everybody. Everybody's not going to be there, but you can always have an impact on the game that lasts forever. You got the Phil Handies of the world. You got trainers and guys like that have been all across the world helping other players, and have some of these people that never played basketball have greater names in the sport because of what they've done for other people. So
Exactly.
you just got to keep
Exactly.
that in mind
And,
for sure, bro.
and that's what I'm trying to leave. Like, there's a lot of high school guys that I like as of right now still text, and it still just amazes me. Beaumont United actually won the state championship this year, led by Mr. Terrence Arsenal. He's one of the best players in this city. If you have ever a chance to check him out, he's one of the best players. And for him to just after they beat Pato in the regional, they beat Pato in the regional finals. And I've never talked to TA before, but for him to acknowledge, hey man, we've been looking for you. You're 30, we're 31-0. We still want we've been looking for your interviews. So people like that, knowing that like he's got that probably is a power 5 guy, and he's just literally acknowledging like we want to talk to you.
Yeah.
That's what makes it even more special. Like guys like that. Like I walked into the gym the other day at Elbow in the gym. Chris Marshall, he plays for a team called John Lucas III, but everybody knows he's a power 5 wide receiver. USC, Alabama, LSU coming after him. I walk in the gym late right after the game. He looks at me. So you really missed my dunk? I said, bro, I just got here. So when guys like that who are future, I would say future pros, if knock on wood, nothing doesn't happen to them, to
course.
acknowledge the easy corner, I know I'm doing something right.
For sure, bro. And got it from the ground up. You know what I'm saying? And when you're putting your head down working, you want those things, but you're not thinking about them. You're just trying to build. And people see the things that you think they'll never see, or that one post that you post that you think nobody saw, but it catches so many eyes, bro. I your platform caught my eye a long time ago. I've been rocking with you ever since, man. But I wanted to get into you talking about the high school players. Let's talk about kind of, I guess, on the basketball side, how kind of you feel like the jump shot and, the game, the three ball has changed the game more on the high school side.
More on the high school side. Honestly, it's very effective, but to me, you can live by it and die by it, because I've seen a lot of people miss threes and lose playoff games. This is not the NBA. It's not a 7-game series. You have a bad night, you're going home. So, can I attest that over the last couple of years, the best teams have won state? I can say that, but the three ball though has really, really impacted it. We look at guys like Stephen Clay, what they're doing. So obviously the emulation and the fact that I give them a lot of credit, they make players believe that they can do that. But people got to realize like they're not Stephen Clay. Like I understand like shooting is a form, like they're professionals. That's their job, doing it at the highest level. So like I just feel like it starts in the practices, but honestly, to me, it really kind of doesn't even start in the practices. It starts in the warm-ups. You see no dunks, you see them, let's pull from 30. Let's see what trick shot I can do from 30. And the thing about it is just crazy. Those are game time shots. Like that Damian Lillard shot over Paul George, kids are practicing that shot in the warm-up. So like, it's just crazy.
Like we would get back when I was playing like 10 years ago, and you get grilled for doing something like that. Just going out there, shooting a three before even a layup, you know what I'm saying? But,
exactly.
I think it's kind of half and half, I think it does a game a detriment, but I also think like players try their hardest to become more skilled to be able to shoot the three ball. Now the shot selection and things like that are a different thing, but they try to come in with more skill. There used to be the 4 and the 5 work on the post moves, the 3 down work on guard skills and things of that. So I do like it in that regard, but at the same time, like you said, it's one game and go home. And when you're in that kind of situation, you have to play to your strengths. And the teams that are the best, which have the best coaching and they know themselves and not their identity.
But to me, I would say this. My fault for cutting you off. What I would say this is kind of not good for Texas because Texas has no shot clock. So that's where it kind of gets tricky. Like,
hold on, pause real quick. So I didn't know this, and nor do I know yet until you tell me. Other states have shot clock.
I think some other states do have shot clock. So
I think I've seen that in New York before, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So like, I think the detriment of Texas not having a shot clock that can like cause some teams that's supposed to win, like that more talented team. Like if you have a bad shooting night, like you might not get back in the game because teams are stalling. Like, so you know what I'm saying?
Texas is so much little now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So like the only team that I know that be scoring at a high rate right now, and obviously it was probably still in your time is Yates. Yates is still dropping hundreds a game, but that press is always there. So Yates, but Yates is not shooting the 3 at a high clip. We know that they're coach wise, pressured up, layup, dunk. Let's get it.
Yeah,
so
transitions. A lot of transition, yeah. But it's still remarkable that they still putting up 100 a game. They've been doing that for so many years.
Exactly.
But I'm glad you brought that up. So kind of break down, how I guess you could say from the early 2010s to kind of now how Houston basketball has kind of changed. Like from the top players, from the top teams. How the landscape was back in the day where you had the 2012 class, you had LJ Rose, Sheldon McClellan, Rasheed Sullivan, and a couple other guys. 2013,
J Mike, the twins,
the twins.
So no. Well, so I would say like I would say this in the beginning of the decade. I think you saw more of the big guards dominating, as in like let's take D'Angelo Harrison, let's take Julian Lewis, let's take Sheldon McClellan, let's take the Harrison twins. So like I literally like so like I feel like the big guards, if you didn't have a big guard at the time, like you weren't really dominating. So I would say like the era of 2010 to maybe 13 or 14. And then 15, you kind of saw the evolution of the speedy guards and the fast guards. My guy, Tyreek Armstrong, went to Elkins, was an all conference at TSU. You saw the De'Aaron Fox, speedy guard. You can't stay in front of him. And then all of a sudden,
JJ was a pretty speedy.
Yeah, exactly. So JJ, you couldn't stay in front of him. So like, I think from like 16 all the way to now, because I'm going to go De'Aaron Fox, Tyreek, you said JJ, Xavier Wheeler, Kendrick Davis, like those are small guards. And then LJ Cryer, it was like probably previously the last one, the guy that just won national championship at Baylor, LJ Cryer. So like I saw the more small skill guards start to take over. So that's how I look at it from the beginning of the decade to all the way to now. Like the size different, but like, don't get me wrong. Those guys in the early decades were dogs. I would say they were more of a dog. They were more tougher. But I can't sit here and lie because I'm class of 2011. But I feel like I have the right to speak on it because I've literally been seeing it for the last 10 years. Like I have a relationship with these guys.
In front of it.
Yeah. So it's just more like I love D'Angelo. I've called you. You've seen the list. Number 1 shooting guard I've ever seen. But like, guys like Xavier Wheeler, Kendrick Davis, seeing them on a nightly basis and what they can do, all I can say is this. And this is what I try to do for the easy corner. And to be perfectly honest, I'm just trying to bridge the gap. I've always told those younger guys about the Harrisons, the Julian Lewis's and Sheldon McClain. But some of these old cats, you got to give it to these guys. Xavier Wheeler is a 5'9" dog. Right now, he's about to be the starting point guard at University of Kentucky. Most guys can't say that. He transferred from Georgia, played with the number 1 pick, Anthony Edwards. Now he's about to be the starting point guard at the University of Kentucky. Like,
knock it. You can't knock it.
and I said, like, he's 5'9", but like everybody questioned him. But every time there was a challenge in front of him, he always accepted it. Like, even Dallas, I was at the Dallas and Houston game when RJ Hampton, Cade Cunningham, and everybody came down here. And Xavier was giving these guys the business. And these were lottery picks. Like, RJ Hampton was down here. Cade Cunningham was down here. Drew Timme was down here. Jamias Ramsey was down here. I sat there and watched Xavier work. So, like, I just say, like, all I just want to tell the old cats is these young guys can compete. I'm not, like, Kendrick Davis was almost like 105 and probably 12 in his high school career in 6A. He could compete. So like when that's the only problem that I have, that it's not the same. Yeah, in bar none, they're not the same, but these guys are not backing down. These guys are not back, and that's the only thing I just kind of want the older guys to know. Like, I respect them. I grew up with these guys. Trust me, I'm always gonna give them their respect. But the only thing I just say is this: give these young guys their respect too.
For sure. Yeah. They just it's evolutionizing, bro.
Yeah.
It's just a different strokes for different folks, you know, different
Exactly.
way.
Like, don't get me wrong. If it was a 7-game series, I'm taking the back half. I'm taking the beginning of the decade. Because I know those guys are going to come to play. But I would say this: I think they would win because they're alphas. I really believe that the back end of that, I think they would play better team ball. Mm-hmm. But I just think too much alphas and too much dogs and too much size is going to overtake that team ball.
Especially if you throw in guys like, Winslow was part of that kind of early decade in 14. You had Justin.
Yeah, Kerwin. Shout out to Kerwin Roach too.
Kerwin Roach, yeah, for sure. So, yeah, I mean, I agree with you, bro. I mean, that's a great breakdown of the basically that this decade, because Houston, I mean, Texas has been big. Texas is really big on the guards. I mean, I was asking one of my homies a couple of weeks ago, like, is Texas might be home of the big guard?
No. Like let's just say, listen. Like, I'm trying to tell you, John Calipari has got Andrew Harrison from here, De'Aaron Fox, Tyrese Maxey, Xavier,
and that's just who he got, not who he recruited.
Yeah. So he got all 4 of them guys to come down to Kentucky from Texas.
Mm-hmm. I got a question for you. I don't know how controversial this is, but
go ahead.
Do you think I was talking to somebody else earlier? Do you think that Rasheed was a bad fit at Duke? Because he was my opinion.
So I'm trying to think. Give me the class that came after him, because he was shining his freshman year. But who was 13? That was Jabari Parker. Jabari Parker in there.
Jabari Parker.
Okay, but I think it might have been the class after that, because did he play with Winslow one year?
I don't believe he was in 2012 class.
No. But I think like he was at Duke again. Like, I think that Winslow and Tyus Jones class, I think that kind of messed up Rasheed's like that momentum, because like his freshman year he was killing. His sophomore year, like he did his thing. But when you look at that fresh, like the Tyus Jones year,
when they made that championship run,
so you look at Tyus Jones, Quinn Cook, all those people who were Justice Winslow, like Jahlil Okafor, obviously. So like I feel like he got a little phased out after that. Like, I think I would say this, and I don't know for a fact, but I honestly got to interview him one day, because I already told him he asked me about the list too. I just think his role started diminishing. I really think that's what happened.
And I was gonna bring that up. A lot of people like, oh, he fell off and things like that. I'm like, it's a difference between falling off and not playing and your role being changed. That's something you have no control over. I mean, obviously off the floor you may have some control over it, but when it comes game time, you can't say that somebody's fell off when they haven't played. Especially like you said, his first 2 seasons he was playing well, and then they just phased him out the lineup. it's crazy in college though because like you got to strike iron. Like I thought the first year when Dotson went off at Oregon, I thought he should have left, and then all that stuff came behind him and all those false allegations in Oregon, which that came to light. But I feel like when you have a good first year, bro, in college, you got to strike iron, especially if you're at a Power 5 school, because a lot of guards are coming in. They coming in.
It's funny that you say that because everybody knows Harrison is my guy, Mr. Harrison, Andrew and Aaron's dad. That's my guy. Like I'm traveling with them to Dallas on Thursday. And he actually, when he saw that list, he was pissed off at me for a month. He didn't talk to me for like almost a month or two. I can't sit here and lie. I have told him repeatedly, and I have so much respect for Aaron and Andrew, and I don't want to sound like a hater, but I felt like when Aaron started hitting all them game winners in the NCAA tournament his freshman year, he should have left because just people hear me out. I can't sit here and lie. They earned the right to start that next year, but I really think a part of me really believed that Devin Booker and Tyler Ewing should have got the starting job, even though they were 35-0 until they lost to who they lose to Wisconsin. Even though they lost one game, one game. But I watched all those games, majority. Like I was heated, and I'm like, Deep Book and Eunice is eating. Deep Book and Eunice is eating. But like you just said. Aaron was so hot, hitting game winner after game winner and made it to the NCAA championship. I felt at that point, them boys didn't have nothing to prove. But like but like they said, they came back to win a national championship. I said at the end of the day, no. Like you do that, was it 4 straight games? Game winner. Game winner.
Game winner. Or go ahead, book us down the stretch. And it's just like you said, it's like I don't know. I'm a believer in striking iron. We can say that we would have left, but they felt like they had something to prove, and especially when you go 35-1, you definitely they were right there. And Wisconsin was they just had so much movement off the ball. They were doing a lot of things. They had I'm not gonna say now pro style offense because now pro high pick and roll really, but they ran a lot of sets. I'll say that they ran a lot.
They did, but and then I also tell everybody they had a year to think about what happened in the Final Four a year ago, like when Aaron hit the game winner and won. So they had a year to think about that. Like Kaminsky and Sam Decker and those boys had a year to think about what happened a year ago because that game that I compare it to is a high school game that just happened this year. Bryce Griggs at Hightower, he played PJ Haggerty. When I tell you Bryce Griggs dominated PJ Haggerty a year ago, like 25 points in the first quarter and a dunk in the fourth quarter saying, and then he just looking at the crowd, this is my city. PJ Haggerty this year was on some different, I think that was his state championship. He finished with 31-12, and everybody thought that Hightower was going back to state, but
what school is PJ from?
Huh?
What school is PJ from?
PJ Haggerty goes to Crosby. He just recently committed to TCU.
He decommitted or committed?
Real recently committed to TCU.
Oh, gotcha, committed.
And he plays for his AAU team is Houston Superstars.
Superstars? Oh, Superstars? Nice, yeah. But yeah, man. Woo. Yeah, man. It's so much history in the H when you look back at like all the teams and stuff like that. The next thing I want to get into with how do you feel the teams match up from early in the decade? Like you got that 2011 Bel Air team, or you got Toby, you got Sheldon, you got Jonathan Evans, you got a lot of guys on.
Let's see how they match up because so you talk about the back against the back half. Okay, let me see because I think I tried to do this before because I'm you said the 2011 Elkins team. I mean 2011 Bel Air team. Bel Air.
2011 Bel Air. You got Yates 2010. I mean Yates is going outright, so we don't gotta necessarily.
Yeah, and then like I said, I'll look at
you got Corbin Bush with Kelly.
2010 Bush, and then I look at 2017. People don't realize 2017 Cy Falls they won state. 2017 Cy Falls won state. One of the unsung heroes.
Was that the year after Fox?
After Fox, 2017. Yeah, 2017. They won state. Had actually a good run. When I look at it. See, that Bel Air team still disappoints me to this day. Like I said, that's the team.
That's so much. I mean, they starting 5 was literally I mean, they had a front line, damn near NBA front line. I mean, you got 6'11" Toby, Kenny at 6'6", 6'7", Sheldon 6'6", 6'7".
So when I think about that all the time, I just think coaching, like Glover versus Coach Courtney, and I think when games like that, Coach Courtney's been there. So that's what I always think about, like Belair had the better players, but that just came down. We all know that it came down to like a possession. So, possession in the playoffs like that, is there any better coach that you want on your sideline than Coach Courtney? like, is there any coach that better coach? So so my whole thing is, I think the message that I would deliver about that is just more like, Belair, you probably have to beat somebody by 15, because if there's a close game like that with Coach Courtney as your coach, I know anything can happen. So that's it. But like the Yates of 2010 teams, man, like those teams was crazy. Joe Young is one of the Joe, man. Like,
yeah, that's why I have to do that pick 'em today with him.
No, but it's funny though. I'm choosing D'Angelo though. I'm choosing D'Angelo. Like I'm choosing D'Angelo because I saw what the man went through. I saw him. I saw Kipner on Friday night say, we're going to leave that person open. We're just going to put 2 on him, starting like 2 of them. The only school in the district that didn't do it was Elkins, and it beat them every time. I tell D'Angelo all the time, the last 4 times you faced Elkins, 4-0, and you averaged 35 a game against Elkins because they didn't want to double you. I saw what he did. Like his senior year was one of the most individual performances. Like I'm still a firm believer he should have won district MVP because he didn't make the playoffs, but Dulles won 20 games.
Who won it in 11?
Cam Ridley.
Really won it in 11?
Yes, Cam Ridley.
Younger year? No.
Yes. Cam Ridley won it. I still remember that. I am a firm believer that D'Angelo should have won, because there's not a lot of players that I say that strike fear, but that man struck fear in the opposing players and coaches' hearts. I see, like, I was at the game against Elkins when he literally told these guys, if you guys, you know how you warm up and sometimes you do that jog back up and down? Yeah. He said, if anybody steps across half court, I'm giving them 40. You know what those Elkins players did? They stopped at half court and turned around. I said, bro. I said, hey, like, hey, listen.
That's some black cat shit.
Hey, listen. And the thing about it is, you knew the ball was going in his hands. And the one thing I said I respect about D'Angelo so much, and this is kind of why the reason why I give the edge to this era. So many people in this era now is just transferring high schools like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
D'Angelo probably could have said, I'm not coming back to Dulles. Like, no disrespect to those Dulles guys, because those are my guys, like 2011. But this man, night in and night out, and he loves Coach Carabine. Like, you can't blame, like, D'Angelo's like, put that on me. Like, till this day, like, put that on me. Like, Coach Carabine did everything he could, put it on me. But to see the beatings he used to go through, and the double teamings and the hand checkings that he used to go to, and still able to get 31 and 12. Till this day, I said he should have been a McDonald's All-American, and he should have been All-District. I love Julian Lewis, I love Sheldon, but I'm choosing D'Angelo in this era. Even though I saw Julian give Elkins 50. I was at that game when he gave Elkins 50. Like, nobody couldn't stop him. But D'Angelo is the best I've seen, the best 2 guard in this decade. Oh, and shout out to Rasheed and Aaron Harrison too. I didn't forget about y'all either. But like, he is the best 2 guard I've seen in this decade.
Yeah, I mean, when I look at him, my
fault to cut you off. And he did it. I always believe he did it in the toughest district.
Yeah, I believe that district, that Fort Bend district, is the toughest. It's the deepest. You really only got 2 teams in there that's kind of not fighting for a playoff spot every year. So
but like I told everybody, 2011 is a year that I feel like every team in the district had a Division I player. Like when you look at Hightower, John Jordan. Look at Clements, Vic Mabachu. Travis still had Anthony Adunsi, Pop. Austin had Ryan Manuel. Like, bro, like, Wheeler Ridge had Joaquin. Like, it's just like, bro, like, everybody like D1. Like,
and I'm glad you brought that point up, bro, because that's another thing I give that other the earlier half of the decade, is that they were going head up all the time. AAU in the season playoffs, like you were sure because you seen them go head up, and you seen it a lot, bro. So that's what I just liked, personally. But I mean, is D'Angelo the best two guard? I could agree with that. But I just look at Joe's career at Yates and everything.
No. There's nothing wrong with that. Only reason why, like I said, John. I said the only reason why I say Joe, she, and Aaron. Aaron, you played with the number one point guard in the country your whole entire life. You see who Joe played with. And then you see Rasheed had John. You see what John was. Mm-hmm. So I look at D'Angelo, even though like his freshman year state team, obviously, his sophomore year, it was a rocky sophomore year. His junior year, I respect BM, I respect Adrian, but his senior year, I'm sorry, like I just look at the supporting cast. That's why he was my number one.
Yeah. I agree. Like when you match up everybody's supporting cast, and no disrespect to the guys he played with, but lack thereof comparing to what everybody else had, he definitely did his thing. I remember I had a homie, he was finna go play against Dulles and them, and I was like, bro, let me know how that go. He came back, D'Angelo gave a 40 ball. Like you said, when they weren't doubling him, bro, it was up. And as soon as he passed half court, like, he was dominating, especially to be in a district like that. And, but I don't know.
But speak on Joe though. Speak on Joe. Why Joe? Yeah.
So Joe, bro, I played against Joe personally, but it wasn't just about, Joe being just a shooter, bro. Joe, he brought the energy to the crowd. Joe also, he did more than what you see to the naked eye. And I just believe that he was a great scorer. And I do believe that D'Angelo played in a great district, but you can argue that Yates played heavy competition his senior year. They went to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Who did they beat in Hawaii? They beat Montverde and they beat somebody else in the same weekend. Top two.
I know Finley didn't want to play him, right? Finley didn't want to play him.
Yeah, they didn't run into Finley in Hawaii, no. So I just believe that as far as Joe and his career and the way that every year when Yates was the leading scorer every year, I believe. And he had a lot of pieces next to them. I mean, he averaged about 25 to 30. I mean, every year. Even
so I the only thing I have a question about, since you kind of, even though I watched, but and this is what I would say. Can you really definitively say that Joe was the best player on those Yates teams? Because I look at a guy like Snap. And I like he was a 20-some point scorer. So like I get you got Joe, I get it, but like I look like a lot of it's an argument. It's an argument,
and I struggle because I believe all around. To be honest, I don't believe that Snap was the best player, and I'll be honest, I don't believe that Joe was the best player all around. I believe that Elton was the best all around player that they had. I believe Elton was, but the way that team was set up, the way they played, favored more of the way Joe played. But I mean, Snap, I hate to do it, bro. I hate to be like this, but he was older, bro. And I'm not gonna just give him the nod over Joe, because the way, I could see if it was more skill, but not saying Snap didn't have skill, but he was a more athletic guy. He was a more high flyer going to the rim. And like he played an obviously more mature game, which is, I mean, to credit to him, he still went to Western Kentucky and he did his thing. But I just feel like Joe had the makeup, bro, and he did his thing at Oregon too. I believe that, far as skill wise and what, like you said, the lack thereof that D'Angelo had, you can't sneeze at that because like they on the toughest district. But I believe when they went out there and Yates played those top teams, like the end, I mean, Joe did his thing, you know, and I believe that he I mean, it's 1 and 2. I mean, I would favor D'Angelo because I believe that, you know, kind of what you're saying with the point of, you know, he had the supporting cast that he didn't have. I mean, who's to say if you throw D'Angelo on Yates, what do they look like, you know?
Yeah.
But what I wanted to ask you is I wanted to get back over to She and the twins. So obviously we both know they went to straight. I'm not gonna ask about why they left and all that. That's irrelevant. But how do you feel it would have shaped out if it was them three in the backcourt?
Six
And
A champs, 5A champs. Because
you think
like
they on the national schedule though? Do you think they
of
become on
course,
the national
of course,
schedule?
of course, of course. 5A champ, but 5A state champs, and I would have respected more because I respect Strike because they're only one of the only private schools that play public school.
Exactly. Oh my
So
God.
like it's just like no, oh, there's no like they would have been the best probably school in the state. Like they weren't ducking nobody, even though no disrespect to Westbury Christian. Tyler Guidry, you're my guy. Anthony Bennett, I get it. Delvin, all those guys. You know Vasquez. Like no disrespect, but you know you guys are walking around mythical. Talk about some we were the best team in the cities. Come to Yankees to see what happened, bro. That's it. That's all I'm just saying. So that's all I say. I respect all those guys, and don't get me wrong, they did their thing in AAU. I'm not gonna take it away from them, but like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Like we all know. We all know, bro. We all know that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel you. I mean, I was kind of, you know, puzzled. I wanted to see them all play together. Strake, what was up with Strake and being hell bent on not letting freshmen be on varsity? Like, what was up with that? Is that still a thing to this day?
I know Elkins had that for the longest time. Like no freshman being on varsity. Elkins had that for the longest time. I don't know. I don't think that's it no more because the coach that's now at Strake, he's at Episcopal, and he got like 3 freshmen on varsity. So like I think he's learned. I think Coach Wayne Jones, he's learned.
Yeah, man. Talent is talent, man. Especially when you're at the high school level, you know, for sure. I want to ask you, give me some players, you know, in the city, or you know, maybe some players outside the city, depending on if you have any or not.
I got you. Hey, listen, this is my thing. I got you. What you need to know? What do I need to say? What I need?
I just want to know some players that you know, in the Greater Houston area that people need to look out for. And
obviously Bryce Griggs. I still believe he's the best player in the state. ESPN thinks otherwise, but like skill wise, pound for pound in class of 2022, I think he's one of the best players in the state. Low-key, I take that back. He's one of the best players in the country. He's one of the best players in the country.
Has he shortened his list?
Yeah, he got his top 7. It's on Instagram, but I know one of his. I want to say is it Baylor? I mean, I can't get on top of my head. I know he has the overtime league in there though. Overtime league is in his top 7. So like people trying to get paid now, man. You know, people trying to get paid. So like it is in his top 7. I know Baylor's in there too, and I want to say Kansas, but I can't get it from the top of my head right now. But when I get there, I'll let you know though.
Have you got a chance to see Keontae play?
Yes, I saw him play against the Houston Defenders. Very, very athletic, very great guard. He's a top 5 guard. He's the top 5 guard in the country on the Adidas circuit, Southern Assault. He's been very, very, very good for a very, very long time. He's been good since like middle school days. Him and Bryce Griggs used to play on pro skills together. So like, but Keontae is one of the best guards in the country, not just the state. He's right now currently ranked number 1 in the state, and I think he's number 5 in the country according to ESPN. So like he's doing his thing, and his high school team is going to be a movie because he got his running backcourt mate Arterio Morris, one of the most athletic guards in the country, can do it all, defends, does it all. So like that I school in Louisville is going to be on a national schedule with those guys coming.
That's nice. Yeah, I definitely look forward to seeing it.
And then
Keontae 21 or 22, right?
22. So yeah,
both of them, Morris and Keontae.
Oh yeah, Arterio Morris and Keontae 22. I posted my boy Chris Johnson. Happy birthday to my boy Chris Johnson, number 1 shooting guard in the state of Texas in class of 2023. Right now, I talked to him. You know, he's down right now at Peach Jam trying to win the EYBL for the Houston Hoops.
Who they played so far? Have they played anybody?
I don't think. I think it starts. Does it start? It started today. I didn't look at the schedule, but I know that you can log in and actually look. It's on Twitch, so you can actually watch the game. So like the EYBL.
That's neat.
Game.
Yeah, I always wanted to watch that, but now everything, you know,
once
again, making everything more accessible for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So like it's all, and then all of a sudden, JL3 is another team in Houston that's EYBL. So that's the team that Bryce Griggs played for. Bryce Griggs, the kid Arsenal I was telling you about, and the kid Chris Marshall, the Power 5 receiver, plays for JL3. So like obviously Bryce Griggs.
Whose team is that?
Huh?
Whose team is JL3?
John Lucas III.
Oh, JL3? Okay.
Yeah.
John Lucas III. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's neat. So they got the Hoops and JL3 or the EYBL teams.
All the EYBL team is in Houston, and then I think in Texas they gotta be at least.
I mean, yeah, you got the Titans.
No, Titans are gone. Titans are gone. Like their last year was Greg Brown, Cade Cunningham, and Mike Miles. That was their last year. But is
damn, that's some names for you right there.
Yeah, exactly. So like exactly, and they lost, but they lost to. I think they lost to Jalen Green.
Exactly, bro. That's the thing at AAU. Like when you look at some of these teams, like you had Xavier Rathan Mays, Andrew Wiggins, you had Michael Porter Jr., Trey Young.
Exactly.
Never won the Peach Jam. Like you got to come to play every night.
Like you got to look at the Houston Hoops team of 2014 with Kelly, Winslow, Justin Jackson, Fox, Jared Vanderbilt, and then I think they only made the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
And at that time, Justice, Kelly, and Justin.
Yeah, they were all in like this.
1, 2, 3 small forwards. I think those were the top 3 small forwards on one team.
Yeah, so it's so muddy in
there. Guys like Arsenal, Beaumont United. He's one of the best players. He's class of 2022. He got a running mate named Wesley Yates, who's class of 2023. He's very, 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 very good. He actually got an Olympic invite. Tyler Smith, number 9 in the country in 2023, goes to Bush. One of the best players out here. 6'9", lefty, can stroke the ball, can get to the bucket, pretty big. Number 9 in the country in class of 2023. So so plethora of good players out here.
Okay, got you. One player I want to ask you about in there, I don't think we mentioned him. What does Chris Livingston fall at in all that?
Very good player. So Chris Livingston is 22. He ain't no Imani Bates. You ain't know Imani Bates, bro. Like Imani Bates even though Imani Bates not even number 1 anymore, it's really Jalen Duran. And it's kind of funny how you said those duos with Trey Young and Michael Porter. So Jalen Duran and Imani Bates are on the same team in the EYBL. So they should be, I think it's team final. Is it team final? I think it is team final. They should be favored to win the Peach Jam.
Because Duran, he plays strong, he plays hard. Don't have too much of him, but Imani, man, I just think that the way his game is set up, bro. People talk about the frame, but you can talk. I mean, that's to me at this point, man. The way he plays and the way he gets his offense quickly, like he don't waste time with dribbles. If he can hit you with a one-legger, he gonna hit it. If I like the way he one jab, pull up, step back, like. He real quick with his moves, so I like that already. A lot of young guys pat the ball too much, and it's kind of hard for them to find their spaces on the floor. I feel like Imani has. But yeah. Oh man, let's see. So let's go on to the NBA side, man.
Got you. I kind of been waiting for it because I don't know if you were online that day. I made my because I knew this was gonna come up. This was gonna come up. So like I've been actually waiting for it. So like I told all my friends they can't argue. I told them they can't argue with me unless they pay me because they know I'm an entertainer, but they know that I actually know my stuff. So like I said, I'm not arguing with you guys no more unless you guys pay me money. That's it. But we good. Like I think you're a sensible human being that I ain't gonna be that way. So like I will tell you my reasons in a calm fashion.
I got you, Mom, but that was entertaining to say the least, man. But let's go ahead. So, okay, I'll say that one for last. We can talk about the Team USA, man. They done dropped 2 games.
Hey, listen. I'm Nigerian, so it's just more like it's up. It's up for me, baby.
Yeah.
It's up for me. So like my whole thing is this: if they beat USA and Giannis wins this championship, Nigeria is up, man. It's up.
Let's say Giannis played with Greece, though. Giannis not rocking with Nigeria.
Hey, listen, he's Nigerian, bro. He's Nigerian. We all know, everybody in the country knows Giannis is a Nigerian man. And when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, it's all good. But to Team USA, I think it comes down to, like, I think what they said this morning, like, you don't have big guys and nobody wants to play defense. And I think that's the big difference between.
Who constructed that team?
Was it Pop?
I hope not. Fuck.
Because the thing about it is,
I'm gonna put that on Pop because, like,
no. So I would say this, like Pop. I think Pop was on that team that won bronze in 2004. Because I think Larry Brown was the coach, but I think Pop was on that staff. So I'm just like, Pop, bro.
Always been an assistant.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, bro, like, you under this, like, you were literally the guy that was on the staff that won bronze with AI and Duncan and stuff like that. So
Carlos Boozer and shit, and Sean Perry.
Exactly. You were responsible for benching Braun and Melo for not putting him in the game.
Bro, it's so bad. Like, it's like, and then the bad thing is Bam could have been playing for Nigeria, but that's a whole nother thing. But you know, it's like that lack of size and playmaking. It's just like you got Draymond Green trying to initiate the offense and set high screens and let Dame rub off and shoot threes. You don't have no real facilitator. Exactly. You got a lot of scoring guards and scoring wings, but they're not defending. In all these other teams, they have continuity, which I'm not gonna say that Team USA can't play with continuity. They just don't know how to play off the ball, so it lacks. It fucks up the chemistry for them.
So yeah, so one thing I was watching a couple of days ago, about Kobe just buying in, like in 2008, he told D Wade, "I know you're uncomfortable not starting, but like when I make him turn, you gonna come in the passing lane and do what you do." So I just feel like they need that guy that's gonna buy in and say, "Hey, listen, like people got to realize Michael Jordan wasn't the leading scorer on the Dream Team. It was Charles Barkley." So like, you know what I'm saying? So like D Wade was the leading scorer in 2008. So it's just like when you guys you gotta have guys who buy in. Like that's what it comes down to, is like, can you buy in? Like, you don't, like KD, you don't have to average 30 to win in the Olympics. Like, dang, you don't have to do that to win in the Olympics. But I just feel like they can get it together because they have the right coach. Pop is going to fix it, and I really believe they're still going to win the gold. But this shows a lot of your character, because some of these guys right now, you looking at it right now, and this is what I said. This is why you guys lost in the playoffs. Because of the way you guys are playing like this, even though, like, like if you can't play other, like it equates to the playoffs. Like Dame, KD, all those guys, you guys try to score, and look what happens. You're not playing in June. You're playing, and it's resulting on the court.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like KD kind of got into the do or die situation with not being able to have a healthy Harden. Yeah. I feel like KD will be a little more willing passer, but in overall, I do get your point, and I see what you mean. You know what I'm saying? Like, these guys are so one-on-one driven, and even Bill, Bill's led the league in scoring the past couple years, and even when the finals are over, if you bring Devin Booker back, Devin Booker's not he's not a creator, he's not a playmaker. So you're gonna have another guy you're gonna have to integrate in there that's kind of gonna be, a scorer. People say he should start. I don't believe he should be starting, just because, one, he'll be coming off the finals. You want to let him get in, ease himself in, and two, I think Bill's good at that 2 spot. I think
I agree with you, because like you got to realize D Wade did not start, even though it was Kobe. But like in the Olympics, it's about, to me, like, we know we're in a country that is all about sacrifice. Like, this is not the All-Star game. This is not like, this is literally like, to me right now, they're playing for the name on the back of their jersey, not the name on the front. And that's how it looks like, really. When it comes down to it, that's what it looks like. They're not playing for the name on the front. They're playing for their brand on the back, and that's what it looks like.
Yeah, I agree, bro. And to say something on top of that, I feel like they could have brought in a younger big man and kind of let that big man grow. Like Wiseman would have been perfect in this spot. You know, if he's healthy enough, I feel like he could have been growing, playing minutes and things like that. It's not I'm not necessarily off the top of my head, I don't know who I would say, oh, put him in over him, but I think that every team that they had that went deep benefited from having like a more of a glue guy, like in their prime. I mean, Draymond is a glue guy, but he's kind of out of his prime. But I just feel like they could benefit from somebody, a two-way player that's gonna put his nose in the ground and be more of what you said, that glue guy bringing the team together. When I look at them right now, yeah, they can win the gold, but at the same time, like, are they gonna be fighting their own demons the whole time? You know what I'm saying? Are they gonna just be playing their style of basketball? Did they have a training camp this year, really, or did they just really go into exhibition?
I think they had a training camp for a couple of days.
A couple.
I think they did have one. Like, honestly, low key, the dude that probably could have helped him out and should have probably played on this team is Jimmy Butler. Like, that's a guy like you probably need for the Olympic. Like, he's a guy that just doesn't care.
Jimmy, he's a guy that'll sober you up quick if you were on that bullshit. So
exactly.
It's like, did they not want to bring him in to rub people the wrong way, or did they not feel he was a good fit? I feel like he would be a good fit.
Yeah.
But the big situation, they're putting a lot on Bam right now, and KD's kind of going back to the same situation. It's like a Bam getting foul trouble. Okay, you got to be the rim protector, and then. They have to go with it from there. So
and the fact you lost to Australia without Ben Simmons, bro, I said, bro, you tripping.
Ben Simmons, something else, man.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons, dog. Woo, man. I don't know, man. I'm gonna change the topic because every time I get on Ben Simmons, it becomes a very interesting topic. But what I wanted to get over to is this, man. Well, there's been reports lately the Rockets are trying to make a move for the number 1 pick. Do you think they'll make the move, and do you think they have the pieces to even get the number 1 pick?
To me, at this point right now, you're in a good position. Like, I know I've seen Cade play a lot, and he don't get me wrong, great player. I just don't think he's franchise changing. I think he's a piece, but I don't think he's a franchise changing guy. Like, honestly, low key, I wouldn't be surprised if Jalen Green is better than Cade Cunningham. Cade's probably gonna be the number 1 pick, but I think down the line, like, when you look back on it, I think Jalen Green is the guy. So yeah, so like, I don't think it's like you're in a good spot, like, oh, Evan Mobley or Jalen Green. Like, okay, Detroit, go take Cade. You don't need to get the number 1 pick. You really don't need it. But I think you're in a win-win. I think you're going to get the better player. I think Jalen Green is legitimately the better player.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree on that one. I like Cade. I believe that Cade can play multiple positions, and I believe that Jalen Green can too. But I believe that Cade can do it more effectively. He can play really the 1 through the 3, and once they get to the league. And also, I think Cade has shown that he can get to his shot and get to the ball more. He has his own pace, and that's important when you get to the league. I feel like, although Jalen Green has played in the G League, he's still developing that. Although I can say Cade is too, but I just think that Cade's a little more NBA ready as far as his pace, being a big guard. And I like Jalen Green, but I don't think his jump shot is just there yet. But I will say this to what you said. They are in a good spot at the number 2 spot. There's no reason for them to need to move, because that doesn't mean that Jalen Green is going to be too far behind Cade if he's not better, or if he is, then hey, you struck iron. But you don't want to give up too much, and then it's not franchise changing. Because one thing is, if you get Cade, where are you going to go with John Wall? Like, you have John Wall sitting there on a big salary, and it's like, people are saying John Wall is going to be the veteran guy, and he's not there in his career yet. Like, he's not what he used to be, but he's not the wrap my arm around you and, coach you while I'm on the bench.
Mold you.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And with the Mobley thing, I don't like a Christian Wood, Evan Mobley front court. I think that gets you ate up against any team with a big man. Remote big man. I mean, you got.
I never thought of it like that. Low key, I can attest to that. I can agree with that.
Because no offense to Christian Wood, his guard skills are getting better. But I mean, They need somebody that can bang down there. They have no real big down there. Last year they kind of had Jay Sean Tate kind of trying to check bigs
Yeah.
like that. So, they got to kind of think about it as well in that regard. But, I don't think that you don't get Cade unless John Wall is gone. And I don't think you give up John Wall to Detroit. I mean, and I don't think he want to go to Detroit.
No.
Like, Cade don't really want to go to Detroit if we're being.
I know he was praying for Houston. I know that boy Cade was praying for Houston for real.
You see Kevin Porter looking comfortable. I mean, not Kevin Porter. Jalen Green looking comfortable on IG. He ready to come to the Asian. He that second pick on the horizon, man. But let me know one of your favorite players or a couple of your favorite players in the league to watch right now. It ain't
right now, I can't lie, man. I'm a big Russell Westbrook guy. I love him. I know that he's a so-so decision maker, but I said I'll never criticize a guy that doesn't cheat the game. Like from a standpoint, like everybody said, I don't understand when people say pad stats with Russell Westbrook because it looks like he goes hard for every rebound. It looks like he's trying to, like I don't think he realizes he really has triple doubles because he's playing so hard. So I'm a Russell Westbrook guy. I feel in the right situation he could win a championship, but like he has to be in the right situation. Like he has to play with a guy like LeBron to win a championship. Like that's the only way. Like to me, because you can't play James Harden, you can't play with KD, you have to play LeBron. Like that's the only guy left to me that he can play with to win a championship.
Yeah, and he would have to still even change his game. I love Russ. I was an OKC fan. I'm still struggling with being an OKC fan all the way since 2010.
Yeah. So,
but I just feel like with Russell, he can't be the primary ball handler.
Yeah.
Situation, and that's will he come to terms with that? You know what I'm saying? That I love Russ.
Yeah. So like I love Russ. Steph, he's my guy. I like Steph. A lot of people criticize him, but I've always said he's the second greatest point guard of all time. And I'm gonna keep rolling. Kawhi is a very, 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 very good player. I enjoy watching him. I enjoy watching KD. I'm not a big LeBron guy, but I always said that it's still his league. It's still his league on what he does. I respect. I've learned to respect him more and more over the years. But like, no, but he ain't my boy. He ain't Mike and he ain't Kobe. So like at the same time, but I always admit that is his league. Yeah, and I would say those guys who I watch and I feel like when he gets it going, he's the best. He's one of the best, but he's just too inconsistent. I've always been a Paul George guy. But like it's just more like when you look bad, this is what happens. But like when he looks really good, he looks like one of
he had a great playoffs this year. He had a great playoffs this year. I like those names that you said.
Yeah. So some guys like that. But like if you tell it all time, it's two guys for me. It's Kobe and it's Allen Iverson. Like I think like my generation, it was Kobe, Allen Iverson, and probably KG. Those three is like who I want to be like. Yeah.
So I'll go my current and then I'll go my all time. So my current right now, I'm gonna go with them St. Louis boys, man. I'm gonna go with Tatum and Beal.
Okay.
I like the way they play, man. They hungry, they underrated. Beal was underrated for a long time. He got snubbed a lot. I feel like Tatum doesn't get enough credit sometimes. I feel like his game has evolved. They have had they had a different situation in Boston so much since he's been there. And Danny Ainge has been the one trying to fill the pieces.
So with Jason Tatum, I just think for him, the next step is his defensive ability. And that's when he starts getting the credit. Because I think like you look at guys like at his position, guys like Kawhi, who's a two-way player, guys like KD, who's still kind of a two-way player, LeBron, Giannis, Paul George, like he has to be able to play defense because honestly, like low key, I like Jason Tatum, but I've always said Jaylen Brown is the best player on the Celtics because he plays defense.
Oh no!
So I've always said like
you taking Brown over Tatum?
I actually am. I and people call me crazy, but like I think Jason Tatum, his offensive package is crazy. But like JB could give me the same amount of points but plays defense.
You want to talk crazy? I'm gonna talk crazy with you. Not only am I taking Tatum over Brown, I'm taking Tatum right now over Kyrie Irving and moving forward. I mean,
That's not a bad thing because Kyrie really hadn't led you nowhere. But I get it though. As a franchise guy, yeah, you probably can do that.
Tatum has the intangibles defensively. You know, but you have to defend. Defense is a mindset.
Yeah.
You know, you have to.
So I'm just saying. So I think that's why he doesn't really get the respect that he deserves because it's just more like the other players at his position is doing it on both sides of the ball. Yeah, so I think until that happens. Mm-hmm. He's still going to be like overshadowed.
I agree. I might take him. I would take him over Paul George, not by much. But I don't like when people say that. Well, I mean, it's their opinion. This dude's a great player too, but I can't take Booker over Tatum.
Oh no! I'm a Kentucky guy.
I'm seeing a lot of it.
I'm a Kentucky guy, so like it's just more like So my question is to you right now: if Devin Booker wins this championship, is he the best two guard in the league, or is it still James Harden?
I would have to go James, but I hate having James at the two. But I will tell you this: let's look deep. It's hard to judge, but is Booker better than Beal?
Is Booker better than Donovan Mitchell?
I don't know because Booker threw me off with this playoffs, bro, because he's getting a lot of credit, but Booker's having like 1 or 2 games every series, and then he's like floating between that gray area. And I just need to see consistency out of him. Game 1, he was solid. Game 2, he went crazy in the finals. Yeah. But in game 3, obviously we know he had 10 points. He was 3 for 14. But even in the last series, Paul George outplayed Devin Booker the whole series.
Yeah.
People were trying to act like Paul George wasn't damn near the best player in that series. Now, I'll give it to CP because CP finished the series, but I mean, Paul George looked like the best player to me in that series.
No. I believe it.
So, like, when I look at Tatum, man, like all them guys you mentioned, like Kawhi, KD, LeBron, Giannis, them guys, are defending at a higher level. But I think he's right there on the cusp, man. I think he's right there being a top 10 player. But as far as D Book being the best two guard in the league, I can't because, Rick Bucher made a good point. It's like, when Devin Booker's not scoring, he's so unengaged. Like he's not doing anything. Like he's not doing anything.
It's like a lie.
It's bad. And he brought up a good point. Like, I didn't really see it. Devin Booker's game is mature. His game is mature, but I think he kind of let Milwaukee get to him in game 3 and being he was basically like when Jrue Holiday blocked him or checked him in the first play, he was like, okay, I'm gonna get my get back. But like it just never works out that way, bro. And it's like a chess match at that point when you're in the finals. And he was missing he had a bad night, but I just need him to be more on the creating side. I need him to be a screen setter, just do the intangibles. You know what I'm saying? And Chris is gonna teach him that. He's next to Chris. He's gonna learn that. But it's like Rick Bucher said, like he's scoring. If he's not scoring, then how else is he gonna be engaged in the game? And like somebody said, if this is gonna be like Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton, that's not enough to get past Milwaukee. And I believe that. They got Giannis right now averaging 37-12 or something like that. So,
exactly.
And if Middleton and them do 4 games, so it's only a matter of time.
So I got another question then. If Giannis wins this championship, where does he rank among the NBA players?
I can't go top 5, bro. I really can't because he's dominant, but he's not a closer. And when I look at all those in the top 5, I can nitpick Harden a little bit because
Harden's in your top 5.
Yeah,
Harden's not in my top 5. So I just wanted
Okay. Let me see. So we got no order. We got LeBron, KD, Steph.
Yeah.
Steph Harden, Kawhi. Steph, Kawhi. I mean, Steph Harden, Kawhi. So I mean.
Okay. Is Harden? Oh shit, he might actually be in the top 5 there. Because AD, I'm a Kentucky guy, but AD's just not in my top 5. Yeah, I can't do it. Okay.
Yeah, then that's who was lingering in the top 5 was AD and Harden.
Well, no, but honestly, no. Giannis is probably my top 5 then. Because I'll probably take Giannis over Harden. I probably would.
Harden?
Yeah, I'll take. But honestly, I was critical of James Harden in Houston for all these years. I I'm no Houston fan. Like Texans, Rockets, Astros. I'm not a Houston fan.
Oh, hold on now.
When they lose, I laugh. Like I'm one of those.
Hold on. I don't rock with the Texans. I don't rock with the Rockets, but I rock with them Stros. Now, why you doing this to them Stros? Don't talk about cheating. Please don't talk about cheating.
I listen.
Or I will go in the history.
I listen. You say you rock with the Stros, but look what hat you wear, Phil.
Man,
I just said you say you rock with them, but say about to say but look what hat you wear. Listen, I rock with these guys right here. You already know what's up on football. I rock with 12.
Hell no!
I rock with the greatest of all time.
I'm a Packers fan.
Greatest of all time. Like you see the goat, and you see the goat in the shirt, and you see the 12. You know, hey, listen, you know what time it is.
Hey y'all, that's the other 12. The real 12 reside in Green Bay.
Hey, chill out. We don't even know if he's gonna play this year. Like
we know.
He's the greatest. Hey, this is the greatest quarterback of all time. The greatest.
He could be the greatest. Rodgers the most talented.
Hey, listen. Like I said, see, that's the problem that I have with fans a little bit. It's the problem because like you guys overlook talent, but listen, we're in the world of we trying to win. So like you can say, oh, it's talent, but you can't tell me one game, one drive to win a game. You ain't taking the GOAT. I don't care how much talent you have. I'm taking him every single time. I don't care what it means. Like I don't care. You can throw the prettiest spirals. You can be mobile. You can do all this. I'm taking him to win me a game. Go ahead and win me the game. That means something.
Listen, I can't disagree. Man came back from 38-3.
Yeah, exactly.
28-3. Excuse me. 28-3. He came out of coughing for that, and I can't take that away from him. But I'm biased. I'm going Rodgers. Rodgers showing me he can do everything that Brady can do.
Listen.
But collect some rings. Rings.
Listen. We're in a winning mindset, man. We young brothers in a winning mindset, man.
Well, when you at home playing against that man and your coach go for 3 instead of trying to go for it on 4th down the NFC Championship, we're Aaron Rodgers the MVP. You can't do nothing about that, man.
Listen. GOAT, man. Listen. To me, I call it. I already tell everybody the greatest playoff run I've ever seen. You retire Breeze, you beat the MVP, and then you beat the so-called best. I said, bro, he could retire just off that alone.
When I seen what happened in Green Bay, I instantly knew they was gonna win the championship. I said it's the icing on the cake. Mm-hmm. They played every game on the road, and now they're going back home with that defense. And Tom a winner, period. And losing at home for Tom in that type of situation, he knows it. And it'll never get that good again. Exactly. So I knew he wasn't gonna lose. I was pretty sure that.
Are they going back this year? Because I think the NFC is weak. If Rodgers is not playing, the NFC is weak.
Bro, Rodgers is playing, bro. What else is he playing with is the damn media because he want to half-ass talk in the media. He's kind of giving, he likes to drop little nuggets here and there. But I think he'll be back, bro. They don't have the requisite pieces around the league right now to really trade for him. And on the Packers not taking no calls. They playing hardball. So, I just think that he'll be there. The NFC, I mean, they'll run through the NFC South. San Francisco could possibly come to life. Seattle's always there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Nah. But the Giants, I said the Giants might sneak in, but they don't got enough to compete.
Before I just want to get into this Chris Paul situation. I need to get this Chris. So what's your thoughts on Mr. CP3?
So on CP3, bro, I feel like to this point up to this season, I mean, even still, he's been the guy that hasn't made it because injuries, this and this. But at the same time, the injury thing to me is bro, you've been in so many ideal situations, and yes, injuries suck. I get that. But I'm not going to give him flack for going through this run with everybody else getting injured because he's been injured, but that is a part of this run. So I don't if you're going to criticize Steph for going through the Mike Conley-less Grizzlies and things of that nature, then you have to look at Chris Paul and what he's doing right now and say he's doing it, but Jamal Murray wasn't there. Kawhi Leonard wasn't there. AD wasn't there. And yes, he did have his spots where he was injured and stuff, but I can argue it was some parts of some series Cameron Payne was playing better than CP was playing, especially when CP came back from the injury. So, they have a full team. CP definitely deserves to make it. Will he be a top 5 point guard after this? Yeah, it'll pretty much solidify him. Am I a big fan of CP? I'm not gonna say I'm a big fan of him because he does the way he's a smart player, but he does some bullshit that he don't get caught doing out there. And I mean, that's part of the game, but is he a great point guard? Is he the last maestro we have in the league? Probably so, but I've just never been a big fan of the chirpiness, the underachieving and things like that. And like I said, if you're going to say Chris Paul always had an injury and things of that nature stopped him, then you have to look at the other teams he got through that had injuries as well. But a Chris Paul fan not gonna want to look at it that way because that's too subjective.
So, I like the way you put it, but me, I've religiously went in on him. I've said it already, but like I said, I've always just said the biggest thing that I've said was I just believe he's the most uncriticized superstar when it comes to playoffs, and I just always said that. If this was KD, Bron, Steph, you guys are killing them all year.
And that's crazy you say that, bro, because Devin Booker is becoming the next one. He's right there next to him. Nobody said I'm not heard no slander about that last game. None. And it's crazy. He went 5 for 15, 8 for 22, 9 for 22, 9 for 24. Mm-hmm. It's but like you said, you don't hear nothing, man.
Well, let me go get my computer charger real quick.
For sure, yeah, I had to go get that before this episode started. Sir, but yeah, y'all definitely go check out EasyCorner at EasyCorner on Instagram. Let me pull that up for y'all real quick. The EasyCorner. Hopefully y'all can see that. Cool. There we go. At the EasyCorner. Y'all check that out, man, for sure.
Yeah, my bad, bro. But I think I guess
good, bro. I was what I was doing. I was showing them your Instagram and shit so they can go follow and everything.
No. I ain't gonna sit here and lie. I don't even have my computer charger, so if my stuff dies, my bad. I didn't even bring it. I thought I brought it.
You're good. We just got a couple more topics, so okay. Hopefully we can get that in before die, whatever. But let me see. Oh, so I wanted to ask you. So you got the new Space Jam coming out with LeBron and stuff. Do you think they're gonna make another Space Jam? And if they do, who do you think will star in it, and who will be the co-star / monster?
Oh man, it's funny because this is the problem that I have with it. It's just more like everybody said the next mantle might get passed down to Luka. So it's just more like, are you gonna put another a non-American?
That was my thing. Yeah,
I just don't see it happening. But then again, you might, because the NBA is getting more global. So don't be surprised if that happens. So to me, it's just more like everybody knows the game is more global. Let's look at the last 3 MVPs of this league. They're foreigners. Giannis twice, Jokic. So it's kind of it's getting real.
That's what I'm saying. And if you look at the league, now, it's kind of like those guys, the international guys, are kind of the Space Jam type of guys. You got Giannis, you got Embiid, you got Luka. I mean, you got those guys like that are extraterrestrial kind of in their own way. So it's I think that I would like to see Giannis more as the main star, probably, although he
Yeah,
can't.
yeah, yeah. No. That was my second choice, but like it's just more like I'm just thinking of the foreign guys.
The
Like,
foreign guy, yeah.
like the only guy that we might can depend on that can market is probably Zion, but we got to see what he does.
That's what I was gonna say too. And I feel like New Orleans, they so careful with him. They don't want him doing no extra stuff. You know, I don't even know if he'll ever play Team USA, to be honest. You know, I feel like these next few years gonna be key for him. He got to find his stride with his weight, his conditioning, and things like that. Because like, you know, if them knees come down on him too early, or you know, he takes an injury and he loses you know, his natural ability, which is to finish it, not only finish above the rim, but he's a crafty finisher once he gets up there as well. So, you know, he got a lot of hang time and things like that. But yeah, like you said, I think don't be surprised if they go global. You know, the international game is just so big now, and you know, Luka's been a star since he was 16 years old. So they definitely can go that route. I wouldn't be surprised about that at all either. Before we wrap it up, man, and I give it back to you to kind of let you know the fans know
I got
what
you.
you know what you got going on in the future. Give me the worst take you've ever heard, like the worst. Like you couldn't even like really. You heard it and you knew where it was going, and it was just you barely could.
So I will tell you this. I don't think I've heard the worst take more than me. I think I've given the worst takes in history. So I'm gonna give you the two that everybody keeps on throwing me for, but I stand behind it. I've said Shaq is the most overrated center, and I felt like Mike Tyson was overrated. Those are the two that I've said, and I've clearly said that I felt like Shaq didn't start winning until all those centers got older and retired, because I look at four guys he faced in the finals. I looked at Todd McCullough, I looked at Rick Smix, I look at Dikembe Mutombo, and I look at Eric Dampier. I said, when you played Hakeem, you got swept. You averaged 35, even though like that's young Shaq. This is my argument to them. He's young Shaq when he plays Hakeem, but in that same playoff run, he beat Michael Jordan. He wasn't young then. So don't tell me young Shaq when he plays Hakeem, but not young when he plays Jordan. That was my thing. With Mike Tyson, I was just like, when he fought real fighters like Evander Holyfield or Lennox Lewis, you saw the L's. I just felt like he never faced any Hall of Famers in his stretch and run. That's what I said.
It's crazy. It's crazy you say that. Because like you picked out two of the most dominant people in their profession, arguably ever.
Exactly. So I'm a guy that always just say, I'm big on, if you're dominate, who did you dominate? Yeah. So like if you're dominating bums, you're gonna look dominant.
That's why I'm Errol Spence over Bud Crawford.
Yeah.
That's why I'm Errol Spence over Bud Crawford, man. You know that, especially in boxing, that resume is serious.
I think I can find my charger, but hold on, it's on 1%. I'm gonna try to run and go get it. I think I know where it's at.
You found it?
Yeah, I got it. I got you, bro. I got you. I got you.
Bro, I know how
on time. It was on 1%. I had to run. I said, bro, but I got you. I got you.
For sure,
yeah.
man.
So, but those were like I said, those are the takes that I did, and people still cash me on that. But like I said, I'm a historian. Like I've always said, I've always had things to kind of back up my statements. So a lot of people just look confused. Like people were just like, easy. I can't say here a lot. I was going to agree with you on that Shaq one because I get it. Mm-hmm. And that's like, I'm not taking, but Shaq will always be a top 5 center of all time. I'm not going to say it, but I put him at 5. Yeah. I just think that he's 5.
Yeah, personally, I think he was the most dominant, but I don't think he was better than Hakeem.
Yeah. So that's what I look at. So like I look at the matchup. So just more like, I think 95 through 99 when he got eliminated, he was swept.
Yeah.
So that's what I look at. It's just more like you say you dominant. Rick Smith was old at the time in 2000. I can't sit here and lie because Rick Smith gave you problems in 95. He took you to 7 games in 95 in the Eastern Conference Finals. Took you to 7 games in 95. So he wasn't the same. 01, are you really worried about Mutombo offense? You're not. So, and then all of a sudden, Todd McCullough in 02, who was Todd McCullough? Eric Dampier again in Miami, and Sagana Job in Miami. Yeah. I said, bro, like, that's why I said I have so much respect when people say, well, Kobe couldn't do without Shaq. I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at like Kobe had to guard Reggie. Kobe had to guard AI. Kobe had to guard J. Kidd. Kobe had to guard Rip Hamilton. Give me a guard that Kobe didn't have to see other, probably except the Orlando series when he won the finals. Yeah. Other than that, Kobe was seeing top guards.
And see, that's the thing, I feel like in the when you look at the all-time debate that the guards have an edge because every night they have to see each other.
Yeah, yeah. I always say in the NBA, bro, you at least like Kenny Smith said it best on Open Court episode one day. He said Hakeem told him one day, he was like, Kenny, I just really have to go to work like probably 5 times a year. Zoe, Shaq, Alonzo, Shaq, Pat, and David. Like, you got to face somebody because at the end of the day, like 26, 27, and 13, that's going to be an easy average. But it's like the only time I really got to come to work is literally 5 times. Probably maybe 5 times, like 12 times a year. Like, you got to face a guard every night.
Every single night, yeah, every single night, and they coming out, man. So I just like, the guards. That's why I'm hesitant on guards coming in the league now because it's like people like, oh well, this guard will come in, he can be an all-star, and I'm like,
no, you can't.
Where is it at?
Exactly. That's why I just say you see how long it took Devin Booker to be all-star.
Bradley Beal,
like
Fox still got to get in. Fox,
no. Remember, there was years that Dame was getting snubbed. Because Kobe was still in the league, like the fans are voting for Kobe.
I'm glad you brought that up because, like, I feel like every player's start to stardom is getting snubbed once or twice from the All-Star game. It happened to Beal. It happened to Dame.
Like the only guy that's getting respect to me as a guard early is Luka.
It's Luka, yeah.
That's it.
Even Trey just got it about 2 weeks ago, just with this playoff run, because like we just talked about a couple episodes,
because Trey wasn't an All-Star game this year.
Yep, he was.
Like him, D Book, and D Mitch. For those, not even Trey, more so not Trey, but D Book and D Mitch. I'm sorry for them two not to even make All NBA. I said, bro, hell no. I said that's a snub in itself. Yeah. Like you costing guys money.
Yeah, and it's like you put 3 or 4 guys in the All-Star game from the number 1 seed in Utah, but none of them, Donovan Mitchell, the best player, don't make an All-NBA team. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the one that I scratch my head at.
Sure. Let's go super early prediction. Who you see in the finals next year? Let's go. Who you see in the finals next year? Health. Everybody healthy, because obviously we had health this year be a kind of a factor somewhat. So everybody healthy. Who you looking at in the finals?
I'm looking at Brooklyn, Eastern Conference. I believe they will be back fully healthy. I think they'll be in the championship. And I've told people right now, James Harden will go down as the greatest third option in NBA history. That's what I said. I think James Harden will go down as the greatest third option in NBA history. In the West, I really think
before you say the West, I saw a report that Lonzo Ball to the Clippers. Would that change your mind in any way if Lonzo was with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard?
No, because I'm starting to believe year after year, and I love my boy Paul George. I don't know if he's the number 2.
Do you not know if he's the number 2 or if he's a true number 2?
A true number 2.
Okay.
That's the thing. But I would say this. The Lakers and the return of the Warriors That's what I'm saying. Because I think Klay Thompson and the Warriors, and then I think the Golden State is going to have. I think it's going to be like the revenge tour, like Drake. Like I think it's revenge tour, like Drake, like or is a Jay-Z allow you to reintroduce myself? But I think the Warriors on that type of stuff.
Yeah, I think Klay ready to prove that too. What I ask you with that is, do they make a move for somebody? And if they do,
I think you do. Honestly,
what's the inevitable? Is Kelly and Drew got to go. Kelly or Wiggins got to go. So
yeah. I can't lie. This is what I've said. If I'm Steph, if I'm Draymond, if I'm Klay, I'm picking up the phone. And I know and I really think it could happen. I'm picking up the phone and I'm calling Kawhi. Let's go.
I done said that.
I said, let's go. Let's go. Because if they do, world champions. That's all I'm going to say. If they get Kawhi Leonard, world fucking I'm sorry. World champs.
You think that they could beat the Nets?
If they get Kawhi Leonard, like I said, world champs. And the only reason why I say that is like this, because it's going to be depending on Klay Thompson. But I would say this. You have the guy that can guard Kevin Durant. You have the guy that can guard James Harden. You got the guy that can score with Kyrie Irving. Draymond Green is still championship pedigree. I will choose Golden State. And then James Wiseman, he's a younger
I
athletic.
need to believe in him, though. I don't like the way Kerr did him this year. I
think they had a plan. I think they know their team wasn't fully healthy. I think James Wiseman is really a part of the revenge tour. I think he's a part of the revenge tour next year. Like I don't think it was not the belief. I just think it is, don't worry. Okay, you guys can get all this now. Revenge tour next year. So I think it starts next year for real. Like I think Klay is coming out. Steph is coming out. Like honestly, next year I'm probably going to make my prediction. And if I say this on this show, I'm going to repeat it. You can clip this one on the ground. Steph Curry is the league MVP next year.
2022 league MVP.
League MVP. Steph Curry is the league MVP next year, bro. He's the league MVP. He's the league MVP. Honestly, I really think he should have won it this year, but I'm not going to take anything from Joke. Best center in the NBA. I'm not going to take it.
Yeah, and I'm glad Joe got it.
Yeah.
But I will say, I was more impressed with this season from Steph than the unanimous MVP season.
Why?
Because of the circumstances.
See, that's the problem with the circuit.
The circumstances and the month. I think it was April. The April that he had. I mean, he was historic, and everybody knocked him and always said he had his running mate. That was always the thing with him and Klay, is they always tied each other.
No, but I would say this: like the unanimous one, there were 73-9. Can you definitively say there was anybody better than Steph Curry that year? Like, if you voted for somebody else for MVP, you were smoking. So that's the only thing I like. Like that's what I really say. Like, who could you vote for? Like, can you say like somebody had a better year than him? Because I think he led the league in scoring that year too.
Yeah, I believe.
Like that first MVP, that was just kind of forced on us because it was like, okay, you had the best record in the league, but your numbers, were you really the MVP? We don't know if you were really the MVP. But that second MVP was just like, yeah, bro, you were the MVP.
Yeah, the first one, people argued it should have went to Harden. Yeah.
That's
on that hard. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, when you look at it from the unanimous side, it was nobody you could say that definitively could have won it. But I'm just saying, all things considered, like, I mean, he showed that he could have a unanimous MVP type of season without his running mate, and that was impressive to me. I thought he needed Klay a little more. I mean, I know he can get his shit.
But I know you say that, but I would say this. I think low key, I knew he could do it because he actually had a good series in the finals against the Raptors when KD and Klay didn't play. But he just broke his hand the next year, so he couldn't really prove that.
Yeah.
So I just think that year in 2019, that actually showed me a lot. Like, he came up big in the finals, even though he didn't have his running mate, but he was putting on performances. It's just that the next year he broke his hand.
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden he played well.
I agree. I would just say that that's more of a smaller sample size, but he was showing it. But I just feel like with that unanimous MVP season, it was impressive, especially because the first MVP people didn't feel like he should have won it. But I like how he played last year. I really thought that.
But I would say this: that was probably his best year. It probably was his best. This past year was probably his best year. But the MVP, the United MVP, still deserved it. But it was his best year.
Yeah, and that's just where it's that all things considered type of thing because they went 73-9. Lord knows if they would have capped off with a championship, that would have been the greatest. Then that would have been the greatest season ever by a player, probably. Period.
I tell everybody that year, if he wins that championship, he takes the mantle from LeBron. I think that I personally think so. If he wins the championship that year, he takes the mantle from LeBron. He was the best player.
But I've noticed that is more of people don't let go. Like people, if they want to hold on to LeBron, they'll talk about how it was every reason why Steph had the advantage, even though he did everything he did through the year. Would I say so? Probably that would have been the second championship in a row. So I mean, I could see the tables turning. But the world?
To me, he's the closest guy who ever got the mantle to LeBron. Like even though
no, KD, bro, I can't lie. KD right now is the best player in the league.
You know what? It's funny because I believe that too, but I still just think it's LeBron's league. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, because
I think that's what I'm saying.
And I believe that because it's been LeBron's league so long, but KD always shies away from being the face and in the media. He just wants to put his head down and play basketball. Mm-hmm. And LeBron is open to always being in front of social justice and being in front of the league and being in front of the face. He's okay with being the face. KD could be the face, but it's not in his most interest. People lean towards LeBron in that way. Space Jam, all this stuff. He changed his number back to 6. That's more of a Nike thing to me. I don't really think he cares to change his number back. It's been back and forth like 2 times each jersey basically. So, there's that with that. But
do you think it was a Nike thing or do you think it was a Kobe thing?
I think it was a Nike thing because when he first came, they were talking about doing it, and then they pushed the movie back. So I feel like once it's more about the movie, and them making that transition. What you mean by the Kobe thing?
24-8, 23-6.
Yeah, I mean, it could. It could be both. That's the thing. You never know. We never know with LeBron. It could be a little bit of both of those. So I'm not too sure, but we're saying that while we're on that topic, which one's the better LeBron than you, or if they were the same 6 or 23?
So I've always believed the greatest LeBron season was when he was in Miami. I've always said everybody talks about that 48 in Detroit. I talk about that 45 in Boston. I watched that. I think that he loses that game. His legacy is shot. He dead in the water. But that's the greatest LeBron performance I've ever seen. With my own eyes. I think his 45 in Boston was the epitome of who he is today. Even though I know Game 7 against Golden State, good performance. The 51 in Game 1 against Golden State. The 29.
It took that 45 for him to get to that point.
Yeah, that. To me, I don't know if everybody calls that, but I still call it the Boston Massacre. To me, that was LeBron's greatest game because he needed that game. They were about to lose. I think D-Wade get traded.
That's when D-Wade was in and out the lineup a lot. He was on his last leg.
So when I look at, I think the number 6 in Miami was the greatest LeBron, but it's just funny because LeBron has gotten better since then, but that's the best version of LeBron. But I think the reason why I say that because he was so keyed in offensively and defensively in Miami. for real.
Yeah,
Like,
on both ends. On both ends. It was all like he has it all put together now, but then it was at a climax. It was
Because I think then it was just more like now you can see with the Lakers and probably Cleveland, he was playing defense with his mind. But in Miami, he was actually playing physically and able to do it mentally. So, like, I think more is just more like LeBron at this point, like, oh, I know where he's going, so I can beat him to the spot. But LeBron in Miami, it was reacting, it was mental, it was physical. Like, he should have won Defensive Player of the Year over Marcus Gasol. Like, they should get, like, he got robbed for that. Like, that year, he should have won Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, that was totally ridiculous. I heard him. I'm not gonna quote what he said, but he was saying something about how Marcus Gasol had won that Defensive Player of the Year. But yeah, I don't like the way they do awards either. That's a whole nother story though, man. The way it's so narrative driven and things of that nature. It's just
see. So the MVP, I've never believed they got it wrong until Steve Nash's second one.
Yeah, on Kobe.
Yeah. But honestly, Kobe deserved it, but he's my guy, and I think he had a historic year. I would say Kobe in my heart, but in my head, I really voted for Chauncey Billups because that's the year they just were winning a lot of games.
Is that the year they had the starting five in there?
Yeah, the starting four.
Starting four. Okay.
I really believe like Chauncey Billups was hooping that year because I remember him going on Quite Frankly and the fans cheering MVP. And he was just like, Stephen A. asked him, so do you think you're considerate of the MVP? And this is what he said. See, his answer was basically like, see, I thought the MVP meant being the best player in the league. And he said, I thought that was Kobe. But when Steve Nash won it last year, it kind of changed the narrative. So I think I'm deserving. That year, Detroit was crazy. So I really thought Chauncey Billups should have won the league MVP. I really think so. But in my heart, Kobe was the best player that year. Like, don't get me wrong, best player that year. Like, he was. So, but like, I just feel like Steve Nash got up. That's the only narrative MVP I'm really going to say because they said Steve Nash got it because Amari Stoudemire was injured that year. Joe Johnson went to Atlanta. Quentin Richardson went to New York. So they said they gave him the MVP because he had the same running mates. But I'm just like, oh, well, like, so that's the only reason why you won the league. That's the only narrative MVP that I've ever heard. Like, out of all the years, that was the only narrative MVP.
Yeah, and it was a couple years in between there where people were just mad because Harden didn't win like 3 years in a row. Now, I believe Steph's first one, he should have won the MVP when Steph won his first MVP. But after that, I mean, everybody was putting up comparable numbers to James and had their team in real winning positions.
And the 0-2 MVP, I always say Jason Kidd should have won it because there's no way in hell the Nets go from worst to first and he's not the league MVP. Tim Duncan, Tim Duncan won it. And I believe like he wasn't even the best record in the West. Sacramento was the best record in the West. So it was just more like
Pager and Weber.
Yeah. So Sacramento was the best team in the West. But Jason Kidd, like I tell everybody, like they literally did a straight up trade for Jason Kidd for Stephon Marbury with the same exact team. And they went to the finals as the number one team in the Eastern Conference Finals. The number one team in the Eastern Conference. He deserved the league MVP. They literally went from worst to first with the same exact team. Kerry Kittles, Keith Van Horn, Kenyon Morton, same exact team. And they went to the finals. So like that's the definition of, oh, he really got the team better. Like, Trey 1 for 1. That was it.
Yeah, he turned it. So before I get out here, I want to ask you, since you said that, what do you feel about that Chris Paul narrative that like every team he go to, he changed the team, he changed
so yes, thank you, because we could be here for days, but I'm gonna try to sum it up. See, and this is where I go back to if this is KD or Braun or Steph, like the thing that I get tired of is people judging him in the regular season, like, oh, he makes the team better. So I've always believed as a leader, you got to eventually lead your team to something. And he hasn't led his team to nothing. And, you know, a lot of people argue with me about that. They're just like, well, he's respected. Well, you see, it's different when Kobe rubs you the wrong way than because Chris Paul rubbed you the wrong way, because it's like, Chris Paul, you don't know what it takes to get there. Like, just a month ago, this is your second time in 16 years getting to the Western Conference Finals. So, like, what are you going to tell me that elevated you to get that? Like, you haven't done that. Like, Kobe can talk to you crazy because he knows what it takes. So the problem that I have with people with Chris Paul is just more like, I feel like you guys crown him as one of the greatest and one of the greatest leaders, and he has nothing to show for it. That's always been my problem with it. Like, how is he a top 5 point guard already when you got guys like Steve Nash, who's won 2 MVPs, Jay Kidd, who got a championship and went to the finals as the best player, and then you got John Stockton, a guy who got the all-time leading steals and assist record, that Chris Paul doesn't have no MVP to show for it, no MVPs, no chips to show for it, nothing behind his name, but and no records to show for it, but he's automatically top 5.
Exactly, and like, and if I threw him in my top 5, he would have to win the MVP, which I think Devin Booker just kicked himself out that sweepstakes.
Exactly.
And my thing is just like, it's like you said, like, how are they gonna put him over Isaiah Thomas? And what Isaiah Thomas went through in all the runs he had to go through, the teams he had to go through.
So I don't wish on him not to win, but I told people this. I already know if he wins the championship, I really believe, like, Chris Paul might be a top 55 player, 60 player in the league, like, all time. I really think if he wins this championship, this might elevate him 25 spots, because that's how much, and that's the thing that is going to piss me off, because it's just more like.
But see, I agree with you, but guess what? It's the same for Giannis. It's the exact same for Giannis.
Oh, in the all-time discussion?
Not all time, but definitely right now.
Yeah, but to me, it makes sense. Like, 2-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year. Like, what else do you have to accomplish but win a title?
I mean, I could say that he should rightfully be throttled into the top 5. Definitely,
exactly.
I don't like that Defensive Player of the Year, because he's a rim protector and he's not a defender, bro. And I think that gets lost in the game so much.
So, and the other reason why, like I said, I gotta put Giannis in 5, because, like, you led your team, even though necessarily you didn't play in games 4 and 5 in the Eastern Conference Finals. But, like, if you led your team as the best player to the championship, and you're a former league MVP, like, you're literally freshly off the league MVP, and you're automatically top 5. Like, let's just say this right now: we both know if Kawhi Leonard doesn't have 2 championships behind his name, he's not a top 5 player.
Yeah.
So it's just more like, why not give it to the guy that almost accomplished just as much as him and got the MVPs behind his name, and Giannis impacts winning at the same time. Like at the end of the day, like, the narrative is different for him and Chris Paul. If he loses, like I said, Giannis is 1. The most pressure to win this title is Giannis and Chris Paul. But I think Giannis is 1 because he's the best player.
Yeah.
Chris Paul just got to win it because everybody he beat.
Exactly.
But I think Giannis is 1. Like, if he doesn't win this championship, it's just like, damn. Like,
the thing for both of them, and I was talking about this with some on the other episodes, is that this is both teams' best chance to win.
Yeah.
Devin Booker look this in the face, because the West gonna get muddier.
Exactly.
Healthy, and they just these teams are good, but they're not teams that you're gonna see back there. I didn't think Denver would make it to the second round, but if you got Denver with Jamal Murray, who knows what could have happened. If you got Paul George with the Clippers, I believe the Clippers take their series. But I just think that both these teams chance. But like, you put Chris Paul second, and I agree because of what you said earlier. Like, people always let him slide. People always give him that slack. People on Giannis' ass. Like, if Giannis 16 years only a Western Conference final, never been to the finals with his style of play. That's another reason I feel like Chris Paul gets a lot of credit is because people are, he is that maestro. He's the last of a dying breed. But that doesn't mean when the resume is the resume, it is what it is.
So I tell people this all the time. With Chris Paul, for me personally, just like, I don't think that he really gets his team better like everybody says, like the win show. But I give a pure example. For me, you don't make nobody better by throwing the alley. I'm sorry, DeAndre still couldn't do a post move.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Luka's the same way.
The
assist.
Exactly. And this is what I always said too. This is my definitive example, my last example with the Chris Paul thing. People have to realize, I don't know if it was 13 or 14, Blake Griffin finished third in league MVP. And everybody said it's because of Chris Paul. I said, no, there was a stretch that Chris Paul didn't play, and he averaged almost like 28 and 15. And that's why he was third in league MVP. His numbers actually took a big hit when Chris Paul was there. Like, even when Chris Paul left, and he was still with the Clippers, his numbers started to go up. And even in Detroit, there was a year that he averaged like 27. So it's just more like, to me, that whole, he got the Clippers. Blake was an 18-point guy when Chris Paul was there. That's it. So that's why I said I never really believed that narrative. Like, when Blake finished third in league MVP, is because there was a stretch that Chris Paul did not play. Like, he didn't play, and Blake was out there looking like Blake Griffin from his rookie year when he was just literally getting his numbers. Like, he was averaging almost like 26, 27, 12, and 5 assists.
Yeah. And another thing about Chris Paul, I can argue that this is not his most talented team. I can argue that team with you got not old Jared Dudley, but more prime Jared Dudley. But I'm not saying that was the best player, but we're going to go through the list. So you got DeAndre Jordan, you got Eric Bledsoe, you got Blake Griffin, you got Matt Barnes, you got Jamal Crawford, you got Chris Paul, JJ Redick. Like
I said, like a lot of people don't realize, like, with the Clippers, he blew that playoff series with OKC.
Russell got on his head.
Exactly.
They
should have beat him. And the other thing I tell people, with the San Antonio Spurs series in not 15.
That lucky ass floater.
No. In 08. This is the problem that I have with people, because everybody said, hey, Easy, I don't understand why you blame Chris Paul for that series. He was too young. I said, let me tell you guys something. You guys say he was too young, but let me say something. He was good enough to beat him 3 times. 3 times, and game 7 was in New Orleans. But all of a sudden, when you lose that 7th game in New Orleans, he a young guy. That's the problem that I have. And then all of a sudden, then all of a sudden, with the playoff series with the Clippers, you're blaming Blake and DeAndre every year. Obviously, with Houston, we know we blaming James Harden. Like, it's like Chris Paul gets no slack, because everybody thinks that I look at the 2018 series when the Rockets were up 3-2 and he got hurt. I don't look at that series. I look at the next year's series, 2019, when Steph Curry walked into Houston and gave him 33 in the second half, and there was no KD. That's the series that I look at. Like, Chris Paul, you're not getting no blame.
And they were up double digits in the last 2 games of the series at halftime.
Exactly. I said there was no KD. So everybody else was like, man, 18, Chris Paul, we would have won. I said, I don't care about that series. I look at the next year. What happened when you guys were talking? Run it back. Steph Curry I believe he had 0 points at halftime. Yes. He had 0 points. And then 33 in game 6 in Houston. But James Harden's going to walk away with all the blame. Oh, Chris Paul, he's not the same no more, Just put it on.
But that's the same Chris Paul they say him now is a closer when he had those games up double digits against one of the best teams in the world at the time.
So that's the thing. So that's the thing that I just don't get with it. I'm just like, bro, this Chris Paul thing, like, and then all of a sudden, OKC, we already know if he lost, they were a young team anyway. They weren't supposed to be here. But everybody wants to argue, see how he just gets the team better? I said, eventually, do you guys want him to get better in the regular season? Or he can winning these meaningless games in November through March. I want to see what he's going to do in April. Like I always used to say, my running joke was Chris Paul season ends during Cinco de Mayo. That was my running joke every time. I said, "Oh yeah, man, Cinco de Mayo, we know Chris is done around that time."
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, I don't blame you. You know, this is, I mean, like you said, 2 Western Conference Finals, 16 years. I mean, a lot of other, like you said, the KDs, the LeBrons, they getting grilled for that.
Grilled.
They
They
get grilled for
sometimes
that.
get
Giannis
grilled.
is
They sometimes get grilled for being like number 4 or 5 in their conference.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
LeBron be
With less of their team.
Yeah, exactly. And then LeBron be having them sorry ass Cavs teams. They still be grilling them. You know, I don't. You know, I'm not the biggest LeBron fan, but like he had some terrible Cavs teams that's not supposed to be there.
Yeah, I was thinking about that first Cavs run. I was like, Jesus Christ.
No, I'm thinking about the last one when J.R. Smith blundered. I was like, geez, like they weren't supposed to win Game 7 in Boston. Like you, even though Kyrie.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like LeBron willed them through that too, because Tatum almost made the finals his rookie year.
Yeah, exactly.
Tatum was 2 positions away from a finals his rookie year, man. That was they didn't have nothing. They walked into that finals on their last leg.
Exactly.
They walked into that finals.
And almost won Game 1.
Sure. Yeah. But see, like that's how momentum go. Like they knew, both teams knew. Like once they lost that, the Cavs gave that up, like they were shot. They mentally couldn't recover from that, man. But before we get out of here, bro, I want to hand it over to you. Let us know what's coming over for the Easy Corner in the future and what you got coming on.
So the Easy Corner, I'm just trying to spice up a little guest. Obviously, Brandon, I'm gonna have to get you on there before it's all said and done. So this is the first time I've actually been in my studio for a while. So I've really been out here filming and editing my basketball video. So what's going on next is Under Armour circuit stop with the Houston Defenders. They played their second circuit stop before the UA finals in Indianapolis next week. So I'll be there covering that and covering all those other great players that's on the Under Armour circuit. Then after that, I'll head to the Bigfoot Hoops to cover more teams, a plethora of teams in Las Vegas. I'll finish off the month in Dallas and for Prep Hoops, the grind session for Prep Hoops in Dallas. And then all of a sudden, August, it's football county for high school. So I'm looking to venture off and try to find the top high schools for football. Marshall's around the corner from my house. They've been consistent for almost the last 3 years of making deep playoff runs in the 5A region. North Shore is not no slouch over here, what they're doing. KD is still the reigning, defending 6A Division II champ. So I like to get to sit down with them and Coach Joseph and see what they do. So, to me, it's just Easy Corner, just really trying to take off and build the brand that it is, just interviewing and also doing film. I'm trying to do a lot more feature stories, trying to feature players and tell their stories out there, from the unknowns to the highly ranked guys, So that's what I'm really just trying to turn Easy Corner into a whole media production. And, a lot of people are actually trying to sit here right now, try to pay me to control that kind of social media and try to make sure, like the kids are getting the proper etiquette on how to answer these questions and how to clean it up. So I'm starting to consult for a lot of kids. People are trying to get me to, mentor and take them under my wing, as a media guy, because at the end of the day, like as much as I'm a media guy, I'm a guy that loves relationships. I'm a guy that wants to build relationships, and I want to see everybody do well, including your show and what you're doing here. I can't say what you do here it was really, really fun. It was really entertaining, but it was real knowledgeable. Like at the end of the day, when I see guys like you that have the same drive and the same passion and the same for the sport, and you want to make it better, but you're also listening to the crowds and you're feeding and catering to the audience, I respect the podcast like yours. So like, honestly, all I can do is, man, just keep getting up, praying to God, and, just keep moving forward and making sure that Easy Corner is the best platform for young athletes and current athletes and guys like yourself to speak on. Because at the end of the day, like, I'm nothing without the people. With Easy Corner is nothing without the people. At the end of the day, I felt like I've been a nice guy. I've been a guy that has been respectable in this industry, and I see what you're doing, and you're making it a lot better. And the one thing about it is that nowadays, back in the day, it was all about competing. But I think now everybody want to see everybody eat. And I think that's the biggest thing for us to just come together and do something like this. Like I know for a fact that you're going to be on my show. Like, so don't even worry about like, just give me some time because I really focus on it like I need to. It's like the last thing I did was post game interview. So I really haven't really talked to anybody, but you're one of the guests that I want to bring up just for your knowledge of the game. And just to talk to different people, like I just said, like we hit on it earlier, like how can we impact the game, or not even the game? How can we impact sports with our voice, just giving our opinions? But the thing about it is, our opinions, can you have knowledge about it? Like we just had a whole Chris Paul. This is like the best Chris Paul conversation I've had because I'm hitting my points and you're like, oh, I see it. Even if you disagreed with me, you're like, okay, this is the reason why he feels like that because I'm hitting points. Like people don't know, like I study this shit. Like when I go home, like watch old videos. That's why when like I get into argue with my friends with the Chris Paul, not to bring it up again, but like when they're saying guys like John Stockton and Jason Kidd and Steve Nash are not even close to Chris Paul, I'm just like, that's just a disservice to the game. Like, that's disrespecting the greats. I was like, go back and watch the John Stockton game. Go back and watch Steve Nash game. And the thing that disappoints me is these are my friends that we grew up watching these guys. Like, we grew up watching J.K. and Steve Nash. Like, John Stockton more so, he was at the back of his career. But, like, Jason Kidd and Steve Nash, these are guys that you pick in 2K, NBA Live. Like, you're picking these guys. High ratings.
And it's crazy, man. It's that recency bias, though.
Yeah.
Like that's one thing you see a lot.
Yeah, so that's why I told you, just like that, and just like the high school, I'm just here to bridge the gap and make it fair. Like at the end of the day, I love D'Angelo, I love Sheldon, I love Julian Lewis, but I know them bad boys and LJ Cryer, Sabir Wheeler, and Kendrick Davis are competitors. So I've always been the one that tried to be fair. I always tried to be fair. At the end of the day, I'm going to give them their roses, and I'm going to give them their roses. Because in the day, I grew up with those dogs. I've seen it firsthand. But like I said, I think I'm a guy that's qualified to speak on it because I've been there for the last 10 years. I've literally been there for the past decade and seen it. And like these are guys that I have their I have D'Angelo's number. I have Aaron Harris's number. I have Sabir's number. I have LJ Cryer, Kendrick Davis' number. Like I can call them. Like I feel like I'm qualified because I've spoken to them about it. And the one thing that I always say, if I say it on this show, everybody knows I'll say it to their face. Like don't like that's the one thing I would say. I like this is not talking behind their back because I will tell them. I would tell them, and then if they want to get on the show and have a discussion about it, we can do that. Like so, this is nothing that's the one thing that's the one thing that people will say about me. If Easy says something, he's gonna stand on his merits. He's not gonna hide. He's not gonna dodge. He ain't gonna joke. That's what it is, and that's the only thing I want you to make sure you just keep continuing to do what you do and be truthful. That's the only thing that we can do in this podcast era, and they will respect you for it. Like Aaron, Mr. Harrison has cussed me out. How could you do it? But at the end of the day, it's always been a respect. At the end of the day, I've took it on the chin. I've took it on the chin. He's the dude that says, you don't know basketball. You don't know basketball. But at the end of the day, I respect him because like I said, he's put kids in college. He has. So like at the end of the day, like he's still one of my mentors. As crazy as he is, he's still one of my mentors. Great guy to be around. Still one of my mentors. But I just said, I have my opinions, but like my opinions are not far off. It's like not saying anything crazy. Like the Shaq and Tyson thing might be crazy, but I always got evidence behind it.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Like, it's whatever you say, no matter how crazy it is, if it's evidence behind it, then you're making a case. And you know, like you said, long as the respect is there, the best debates can be with the disagreement. So you just never know. And you know, I appreciate you coming on, man. I think what you're doing as far as consulting with the younger kids, as far as the media platform, is very important because although kids can work on their game, and you know, their game can be very important, but just being able to speak in public, not only for the media, but the relationships you may make in the future or the shoulders you may rub, you know, when you're past the game, and you know that those networking skills will take you so far. So that's a great thing, man. You know, I'm gonna go ahead once we can get the video suited and booted up. I'll make sure we have your tag, your Instagram tag, your Twitter tag, man. We're gonna throw it on there. Make sure y'all follow the Easy Corner. My boy Easy, man, doing great things. I can't wait to be on your part because
no, I got you.
I don't know when it'll be, but your part will be the first part I'll probably be on, man. So I'm super excited about that.
No. We're gonna get something rolling. And the one thing I would just say is, man, like, I would say this just for you as a podcast guy, and well, not even a podcast guy, a sports guy, go out and please go support these young kids because they can play. And I know that I don't want to seem like but think because like to me there's a lot of still bitter hoopers that are still stuck in their ways. But go out and see some of these guys play because they can play the game of basketball. Like
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, because I can't sit here.
I'm not bitter at all. I was kind of mad because I was about to go to the state tournament last year, right before COVID came.
That would have been a good one. Duncanville.
Right around the corner from my house, bro. And COVID stopped everything the day of the game. I was so pissed, bro. Okay, but I love seeing that. I love seeing that new talent, man. Like,
So I'm just saying, like, so you're based in Dallas.
I'm in San Antonio.
San Antonio. Oh, okay. You're right.
I'm in San Antonio.
Yeah.
But I'm in the H for sure. I do come to the H. As frequently as I can, probably once or twice a month.
So San Antonio, Wagner, Austin.
Yeah, Justin used to be good.
Yeah. So Wagner might be the favorites coming out because they got a kid named Austin Nunez, pretty good. He's on. He plays with Keontae. He plays with Keontae at Southern Assault, so he plays with him right now because he was playing for JL3. But now he plays for Southern Assault with Keontae George. So, like, he's one of the best players in class of 2022. So, I know he goes to Wagner because this summer, 2 weeks ago, they actually did they let all the schools play in Duncanville. The coaches couldn't coach, but all the schools, like every single school almost played. Like Elkins played, Wagner played, Duncanville United. They all came to Duncanville. Like it was a big tournament. It wasn't a big tournament. It was a big showcase, and all the high schools, like damn near in the state, came, and they all played. This was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. Yeah, but I definitely need to get out there, man. And I'm taking that advice he told me. I need to go out there and see these kids more, because there's a lot of talent evolving and the game's evolving. And y'all go check them out too, man. Especially if you're in the H. There's a lot of tournaments going on in the H you can catch. Also, before we head out, what's some good teams that people can check out for this summer in Houston for as AAU ball?
Obviously, the Houston Hoops 16U is one of the best teams in the country, led by Wesley Yates, like I said, Orlando Horton Jr., Zion Little, Corey Kelly, Houston Hoops 17, Amari Abrams from Summer Creek, Chris Johnson from Elkins, BB Knight from Katie Tompkins, Jalen Lowe from Marshall. I would say JL3, Bryce Griggs, Terrence Arsenault, Chris Marshall, Jordan Williams, Houston Defenders, and I rock with them a lot. Chancellor White on the 17th, Chancellor White, Chemo Millender is as tough as they come. Like, he's a guy that's built on toughness. Like he brings his hard hat every day. Guys like on the 16U, Chemo's little brother Smurf Millender. I've already said I'm making a petition right now for ESPN not to have him ranked in the state in 2023. I'm going to tell you guys right now, my new hashtag is hashtag free Smurf. Marcus Smurf Millender is one of the best guards in the state of Texas. He's actually one of the best guards in the country. 5'8", but as tough as nails like his brother. But the guy can just flat out play. Just got an offer from Oakland. Just got an offer from South Alabama. Just got an offer from Lamar. So he is coming. That's one of my favorite players, one of my favorite families in there. JL3 15s. Masterpiece son Marcy Miller. The show that he put on Saturday, I saw 40. I saw 40 on Saturday. Mercy Miller, JL3, Masterpiece son, is a bona fide.
You got another one? Master P got another one?
Bona fide baller. Like JL3, Mercy Miller, he gonna eat at the Peach Jam. Let's see, Team Fox, led by my boy Jacoby Osborne. Jaden Gambrell. That's one of the top teams. But before I do that, I got to take my time out and say this too with basketball. I'm a firm believer, guys. Please go watch the women's game. I like, trust me, like, covering girls for the past 2 years is some of the best basketball I've watched. I
I
had a chance to interview the 2 best players in the state this past. No, matter of fact, I interviewed a top 10 player in the country, Rory Harmon. She's going to the University of Texas, along with Kendall Hunter, her teammate. They were the 2 best players in the state of Texas, and they were on the same team in high school, Cy Creek. So, like, if you have a chance to go watch girls basketball, I'm talking about the Cy-Fair Elite Girls EYBL, Cy-Fair Premier. They're on this circuit called ASGR. Teams like Texas Flight, led by my girl Naya 3, who attends Dulles High School, one of the best players in the state of Texas. But I'm telling you right now, this girls basketball is something different. Like, I love boys. It's always my heart. But being around the girls game since I got to coach for the past 2 years, it's different. I just came back from Dallas, went to the Classic Clubs, saw the #1 player in the country play in Dallas, Jada Williams, one of the best players in the country. I saw Shaq's daughter down there. Zach Randolph's daughter was down there. That Classic Clubs, almost like 20 courts at the Dallas Convention Center. Almost every college coach was there in the country. The only coach I probably didn't see was Gino Ariyama. That's probably the only coach I didn't see. But that was one of the best tournaments, boy and girl, I've been to all year. So I'm just saying, like, when you talk basketball, please show love to these girls because they can play.
For sure. Yeah, for sure, man. And I think, that's not talked about enough, the girls game, and, how even the girls game has evolved. And, for Cy Creek to have, was it Cy Creek you said?
Yes, Cy Creek, yeah.
Yeah, for them to have 2 of the best players in the nation, it's crazy because
both McDonald's All-Americans, both Jordan Brand classes.
And like, if that was on the men's side in Houston, the games would be sold out every time. So just show them ladies support, man. They're definitely doing their thing. And, I believe that, I see your videos too. And I'm just seeing, even in the clips I'm seeing, it's just more skill from even when I was playing back maybe about 7 to 10 years ago. So I believe that, so when we go out there and support the young kids, that gives them that little boost. You know what I'm saying? Because, sometimes they take the advice, sometimes they don't. But at the end of the day, like, us being there to support does nothing but help them. And at the end of the day, we want to see all of them succeed. I feel like a lot of the players you just named to watch are going to be, something to be looking for in the future. And like you said, just building those connections with them early before they blow up, because when so many people in their ear, when they get older, like, that shit just goes to one ear and out the other at a certain point. And, sometimes the only thing you can trust is your roots and the people that you came up with. So it's good to be one of those people, kind of a staple to, their foundation in a certain aspect. So, that's dope, man. And I expect great things to come from EasyCorner. I can't wait until, like I said, once again, we do our episode. And like I said, follow EasyCorner, man. Make sure y'all click the link in the bio. We're going to wrap it up with this one. I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate having you on, bro. You see, that's what happened when you start recording. When it start recording from your side, we had so much trouble with that earlier, man. But like I said, I appreciate you coming on, bro. And you have a good one, man.
Man, I appreciate it, dog. I'm going to send it to you, man.
Yes, sir. We out.
All right.